Hi, this is Shannon from SIS, the number 4 teachers.org. Thanks so much for joining us in our tutorial video on math tasks to help promote mathematical thinking. If you have not seen our introductory video explaining how to use math tasks, be sure to check it out on our YouTube channel, the handle SIS, the number 4 teachers. We want to try to add rigor and deeper thinking with these math tasks to help apply their math knowledge. We're going to be using the 8 mathematical practices in here, which are also known as the process standard. Our task today is going to be for the primary grades, for pre-K all the way up through 2nd grade, called winter gear. We can certainly adjust this problem in many ways as needed for students. We're going to take kids into an anticipatory set, which in this case is a still frame photo into winter wonderland. You also could show a quick video clip or even read a literature book to help children to get the idea of what we're going to be talking about in our task. In our winter wonderland, we want to talk about the different things, knowing what the problem is we're asking. Our problem is going to be 6 of my friends lined up to go out to play in the snow. Each child had on a hat and boots. How many boots did I see? How many hats did I see? As the teacher or the parent, knowing that that's the question we're going to be asking, we're going to be talking about different things in the picture to help lend them to the thought process that we want them to do. Don't worry about it being too, detailed, meaning they're not going to remember what you're doing here when they have to act this out, I promise. So I might look at the activities. We have some kids that are ice skating, building snowmen. We're doing, skiing and sledding. When we go outside, what are we all wearing? We see hats. How many hats do we see in the picture? I see 5 kids wearing hats. What is it that the children on the sled are wearing? If they're sledding, what do you have on your feet? Your tennis shoes? No, you have on boots. So if we were to look at maybe the 2 children down here building the snowman, how many boots would we see? We would see 1, 2, 3, 4. If I were to count all the boots of the kids on the sled, how many would I see? How many hats would I see? So you're giving them kind of a context in which they can draw from to understand what we're going to ask them to do mathematically. So as we get down with the anticipatory set, we want to give kids kind of this math task to pose the question that we've just read about the 6 friends lining up. Again, when we're doing the task, we don't want you to be giving them too much information, meaning we don't want you to, give answers that are leading questions, and you don't want to autocorrect students. We want them to be the giver of the information, not you. So if your child's not thinking of this in the way that you're thinking of it, just let it go so we can kind of see where their mathematical thinking is. What we want to do first in the task is to see if kids can act this out concretely. So we're going to give them a math work mat, and then we're going to give them some counters. It could be pennies and nickels, it could be cereal, it could be counters, whatever it is you want them to do. If you want to make this more specific for littles, you might say that they're wearing red hats and blue boots. That's the example I'm going to show you. So I'm going to give them red counters and blue counters. You want to also be able to differentiate this task. So for littles, in pre-K, I might say I saw 2 friends lining up. How many boots do we see? How many hats do we see? Of course, this task was 2nd grade. You might want to say something like you saw 10 friends or 8 friends lining up. You can change the numbers in here to make it be a task that would be really suitable for both grades. On our math work mat, I kind of mapped out possible solutions that I have seen students do when I've given this task. If you pay attention here to the top part of what you're seeing, we have a student that had red and blue counters, and let's say we made the hats red and we pretended the blue counters were going to be the boots. One child might give the solution that when I ask how many hats, they might say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when I ask how many boots, they might say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, our nature is to say, well, do we wear 1 boot or 2 boots? Where's your other counter? Put 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. The idea of the math task is different. You want to get the exploration out from the child through questioning and have them change what they're doing based on their thinking. I have had other students do this on their mat, but they've explained to me that the red ones are worth 1, but our blue ones are worth 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's more of an apprentice level of thinking, let's say as a kindergartner, to be changing a blue counter and knowing there's 2 for the boots. Very creative. We hope that maybe some of the mats will look like they do on the bottom. Remember, if you do a model for a child, all they're going to do is copy your thinking. Let them do the thinking with the task to see how they do it. So once they've acted that out concretely, we want them to draw out their thinking. So I kind of put my drawings here. I decided to use X's. Certainly students could do, circles for the hats, and they could, do something quick to draw the boots. Obviously, this task is asking kids to do quite a bit with the boots and the hat. So I made my red X's for my hat and my blue. I ended up putting a ring around mine to represent that was a child. So I could go through and I could look to see how many hats and how many boots. So these boxes here, I have them kind of open for the kids to know, oh wait, what was it I was asking for? So if I wanted to go over and count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 hats, so I can enter in the 6. Let's count all the boots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they could put in their 12 there. So the kids can sort of see their answer, visually, pictorially, right? The last part of it is to add in the mathematical thinking. At the bottom. So if you're using this with pre-K, K, or 1, it could be dictated. Second graders could probably write down their mathematical thinking. An example of what I put is first I put out 6 counters for each hat. They were red in my case. They don't have to be in yours. Next, I put out 2 blue counters by each hat for the boots. Last, I counted 6 hats and 12 boots. So we kind of used those hats to help us figure out what the child was as we were doing it, kind of dictated how they're thinking about it to get them to answer that task. And so we really want students to see the anticipatory set, be given the scenario of the task, act it out in a concrete way and be able to explain to you in their way without you leading them through that process, and then be able to show it pictorially, be able to show it abstractly with them adding up. Some students might want to do addition sentences. That's fine too. They might even label 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 to get their boots. And then last, to be able to do a summary, whether it's dictated or orally told, that's fine, kind of getting through that process of what they've been doing. We hope that you've enjoyed our video. We have other tasks on our website on SAS4teachers.org that is similar to this with videos as well. You also can join us on any of our social media channels from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, all with the handle at SIS4teachers to integrate those 8 math practices. Thanks so much for joining us.